go ahead and call this meeting of the Order of Smedley Toastmaster order.
Order in the court.
There shall be order. I'm grateful that all of you are here today. I know we don't have quite as many people as we did 2 weeks ago when we were, in joint meeting with Nakano halfway across the world. They're still happy about it. Yes.
Oh, we got a guest coming on board.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
Hi, Shu.
She's.
Hello.
Welcome, Shu.
Hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
Hello,
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and start, since this is our meeting today, with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm going to just change my background here real quick, and then we'll proceed to the meeting.
Will this do?
Yep. All right. This works too. I pledge allegiance
to
the United States flag. And who's doing it?
For which it stands, one
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry, I messed up.
Okay. It's good. Welcome to Order of Smedley, everyone. Today, I am very grateful that all of you could be here, especially after our fun joint meeting 2 weeks ago with Nakano Toastmasters in Japan. I know that they had a great time, that they did one more thank you to all of you for participating and joining this morning when I logged in at like 5:30 in the morning for that meeting. So I'm very happy that all of you did that. I'm also looking forward to doing our own meeting today. And I'm looking forward for us to have our own great time, because we are still Toastmasters and we can have a great time, can't we? So,
yes.
All right, so let's have some fun, okay? Now, I am kind of, I guess, temp serving as president today because apparently everyone in front of me in line is out, okay? Yes. So that's okay, all right? We have an action-packed meeting planned for all of you today, and I'm gonna start that by introducing our Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster of the day is an excellent, experienced Toastmaster. She still gets butterflies if she has to address people from other countries, but she's climbed out of her rut and she's ready to power up to the next level. She's an experienced person. She's great at what she does. She's always positive, and she also understands real estate, which is funny because that's my speech topic today. So please welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Miss Beverly Plant, DTM.
Gee, thank you, Zane, for that exhilarating introduction.
Yes.
I couldn't say gumption because it means spirited initiative and resourcefulness, because that introduction was.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce our general evaluator, Jeanette Sweeney.
Thank you. I stepped in since there was nobody programmed for it. Welcome, Toastmasters. I'd like to introduce our team. We will have one speaker, and Elle will be our evaluator. She'll be evaluating
Me.
Zane. Our counter will be Kara, and she will also be our timer. I will be the grammarian. I will also be your general evaluator, and I will also be your table topics evaluator. So my thing is the evaluation program today. So that is our team. So Kara will be showing green, yellow, and red cards instead of the background that we're used to. So just to let you know, she'll show you the green card at the minimum the yellow card at the halfway medium, and then the red card at the very end where you have to wrap up. So if you have any questions, let us know and we'll give our explanations. And I'll give it back to you, Miss Beverly, for the Toastmaster. Oh, wait, do you want me to give the word of the day?
Well, that, and I'd also like you to introduce your tag team.
I did.
Oh,
We don't explain how we do it because we're an advanced club.
okay.
But I'll
Yes.
give the word of the day. The word of the
Okay.
day is gumption. It's a noun. Shrewd or spirited initiative and resourcefulness. Example, she had the gumption to put her foot down, head down. I know I'm missing a word in there. From those crazy schemes. So anytime you say the word gumption, we're going to snap our fingers and I'll add it to the list at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Jeanette. And now I have told my brain to wake up so I can get back on order. And because my brain is waking up, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Zane. He is a wonderful articulator. He does have a lot of gumption, and I'm really looking forward to hearing him speak. So let me introduce Zane, our valued speaker for today.
Right.
Zane?
Thank you. Raise your hand if you'd like to know how to live in your house for free. Everyone, great. Just under 2 weeks ago, I had the distinct pleasure of closing on the sale of my home that had been my home for the past 2.5 years. And it was a great moment for me because what I found was an opportunity. I had originally bought that property 2.5 years ago to serve as my home and also as my office. So I worked there for 2 years and it was a great place to live. As I went through working there, eventually I realized that the market was starting to get pretty hot. So I had bought the property for $130,000 and I thought this is a valuable opportunity to sell my property and to, move to my office to where I really wanted to be in downtown Tampa. So what I discovered there is that as I sold the property, my selling the property caused me to almost live for free. So why buy real estate is what I'm going to tell you about today, because this is the secret of how you can actually learn to live for free. The first reason is let's consider why you would consider renting versus buying. There's upsides to renting. Your cash out of pocket for renting is not as high. You only have to pay a monthly payment. You don't have to take care of all of the house bills and everything else. You only have to take care of utilities. You don't have to repair the property. Yet, at the same time, there's a distinct benefit to buying. Firstly, here in Tampa alone, the average appreciation of residential real estate was 7.2%. That's simply by living in your property, the value of your home, your net worth went up by 7.2%. And another reason is the average rental property rate of return, the yields. In Tampa, the average rent yield is 12.5%. That's after the landlord has paid their mortgage, they pay the property taxes, they pay their property insurance, and any other expenses that they may have had to make. So ask yourself, why would you pay your landlord an extra 12.5%, and why would you let them have the 7.2% of annual appreciation? Ask yourself if you would miss out on 7.2%. That's one reason why I think buying is better than renting. Another reason is leverage. As some of you may know, most loans here in the United States of any kind, lines of credit, business loans, home mortgages, they're all secured by real estate. In fact, in many cases, if you own a home and you want to start a business and you want to get affordable financing through the SBA, having real estate to leverage actually helps you get lower interest rates, because then you can get, 4 or 5% interest rates instead of getting 7 or 8% interest rates. And so if you want to start a business and it's a business that requires some upfront capital to make successful, using real estate is a great form of leverage. Not only that, you can be on the other side of the coin. You might say, I want to be a landlord, and there might be someone else who wants to be a renter. So that 12.5% rental rate of return, you can take advantage of that. That 7.2% annual appreciation, you can take advantage of that. And not only that, it creates more cash flow so that you can diversify and expand your investment options. And the best part is, 2008 financial crisis aside, real estate tends to be relatively stable against economic conditions. It does not massively fluctuate in value. I would also add that when you buy real estate, you are creating future options for yourself. Raise your hand if you want to retire someday. So when you have rental properties, that allows you to retire early. You can use them for your living expenses in retirement. Yes, you still have to maintain the property and all that, but if you think about it correctly, if you go and get a commercial property for investment, then you can assign your client to a triple net lease, and the tenant has to pay most of the expenses, including the property tax. And all you're really doing is paying a mortgage. Another benefit of taking advantage of that is that you can use it once you're retired for using it for living expenses. Finally, some people would say that if you buy a property, you are stuck exactly where you are. You can't leave your rental property. You can't move away from it because you have to keep an eye on the tenant. You have to make sure that they don't do any damage to the property. You have to make sure that they are going out and doing the right things with your property. How do you get around that? You seller finance a mortgage. So now it's their property. They have to take care of it. And if you let them take care of it, you can guarantee yourself a cash flow for 30 years as they continue to pay the mortgage. And if they default, you get the property back. So looking at property, all of you asked me, how did I manage to live for free? At the end of my sale, I ran my numbers, okay? I ran my numbers and I checked how much had I paid in mortgage the past few years? How much had I paid in property taxes? And what I discovered, and this was only because of this, because I had to make a small concession to the buyer, that I had paid roughly $400 a month to live in my property for the past 2.5 years. And had it not been for that being my poor negotiation skills, I would have lived in my property completely for free. Madame Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for your speech, Zane. It was very fascinating for me. Elle, are you ready for your evaluation, or do you need a few more minutes?
Could we at least have 1 minute on the clock, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
what we can do while we're waiting for Elle is why don't we do table topics? And this will give her more than a minute and she won't feel rushed. John Paul, would you please start the table topics?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. As some of you might know, I am currently the Program Quality Director here in District 46. Now, that means many things, but one of the things that has kept me busy recently is I have been able to interview all the candidates for International Director and above. So that means those are the people who are making decisions about Toastmasters. And I want today for you to think that you are running to be at the top of Toastmasters. So I'm going to ask you some questions related to the questions that I and my fellow trio members asked these international directors. And you have to think about what would you do if you had been in charge, if you'd been part of the 18-member board that made decisions about Toastmasters. This is not that intimidating. You're experienced Toastmasters. Ultimately, I'm kind of giving it away already. When you're up there, you still have to think about the member. You still have to think about making a club work, because that's why people join. People don't join a district, they join a club. So who is the first volunteer for this international director position at Toastmasters? Let's see if we can have somebody running from the floor.
I'll go.
Okay. All right, Jeanette. Right. My first question is, what would Toastmasters International miss if you were not elected?
That's a tough question. If I was not elected, Toastmasters would truly miss out on having fun. Because as they say, if it's not fun, it's not Toastmasters. So I would incorporate fun activities for the clubs. And as I was an area director, from my experience, to become a better leader and maybe a higher leader in Toastmasters, I wanted to incorporate a fun event with competition amongst the clubs in my area. My goal was to have a volleyball contest on the beach, because I live near a park that has volleyball on the beach. So I thought if I took each club and used my home club, who was outside of my area, to have a contest. So I would have the two clubs compete against each other, the other two clubs compete against each other, and then have those two clubs meet, and then whoever won that one would compete with my home club, because we were already considered the champions. So I would do that, and I would make sure that Toastmasters would have fun. So I think you would all miss out on having fun activities if I was not elected. Thank you.
Wow, you have my vote. You are somebody with gumption, and I would vote for you.
Thank you.
All right, who is the next? Oh, we have evaluations.
Oh, yeah. Well, can I evaluate? Somebody want to evaluate me?
Yes, somebody has to evaluate you.
Does anybody want to evaluate me on my table topic?
Yeah, we need some. Shuchen, I know you're experienced, and you've attended this club once. Can you give feedback about table topics that Jeanette just did?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to hear Jeanette talk about how you want to make a Toastmaster community have more fun. I like ideas how to get people get excited to keep improving between the clubs. I also like the tone she carry out that really has a very positive and funny spirit in her message, and very, very pleasant, very amicable, very pleasant, very nice to hear her personality and messages she delivered. One thing, another thing I think she can work on, because Toastmaster community, even though we come here to improve ourselves, a club can do competing to each other, become better. But I think another way to frame the competition, the word can be replaced by collaboration. That would
Good
be,
idea.
yeah, because in terms of use the words competition, it kind of create the rivalry. But if you use collaboration, maybe make a club between club, even have a more friendly relationship. That's what we like to encourage. People can work together and look for their best interests and to improve themselves, not just for individuals, also for the clubs and also entire district, or maybe cross different districts. Thank you.
Thank you. Great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Shuchen. Okay, who's the next volunteer?
Zane.
Zane. Okay. Hello, Zane. Your question is, if you were to walk on the board today, what would be your number one item that you would put on the agenda of the board? What do you want them to discuss immediately? You're on mute.
If I was on the board, the number one agenda I would have would be finding a way in this time to integrate our undistricted clubs into the international framework so that they have a real opportunity to be represented and to compete at the international level. I have found in recent times that if you're in an undistricted club, whether it's in Pakistan or Africa or somewhere else, that it essentially inhibits your ability to interact with the rest of the global framework. Because firstly, you have a entirely separate conference. Now that international has decided that we're going to do video video quarterfinals, we should acknowledge that everyone should have a genuine opportunity to compete in that. I would also say is that we should also offer the opportunity for clubs to have better integration with other clubs across the world. And what that would mean is allowing cross-district competitions, because the more we connect, the more opportunities we have. And it gives us a better opportunity to show how important it is that we would be able to do things even outside the framework of the international conference. So I would firstly find a way to put our district clubs together across district, and then I would also find a way to integrate our undistricted clubs. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeanette?
Your table topic evaluator, Zane, that was very impressive. I just want to let you know you had no filler words, and you tend to use you know and so a lot. So I was very fulfilled on that. And you did have a beginning and a middle and an end because you summarized what you wanted overall. So that was great information. And you placed it, and the way you used your tone of voice, it was very effective. So I think having us as a board or the panel of discussion, I think we would all agree on your concept. So you presented yourself very well, and you articulated yourself very well. Thank you.
Thank you. And Kara probably caught it, but I did catch one in my speech myself.
Well, thank you, Jeanette, and thank you, Zane. Who's the next volunteer? Kara, who was that? Was that you, Kara?
Al.
Yeah.
Oh, L. Okay.
Oh, you
L.
can pick on now.
Okay, L. Next question. If you were to compare the districts outside of the US and in the US, you'll see that the growth is outside of the US. Here in the US, our membership has been kind of stagnant, going down for the most part. What do you think they're doing differently outside of the US that we can apply here?
Oh, great. Hi, well, thank you for that question, distinguished Toastmasters, and thank you for having me today. I have been a Toastmaster for a very long time, and I do not think the US is necessarily doing anything wrong. We just have a saturated market already where the other districts in Europe and so forth are still growing. And for example, in upstate New York, things are further apart and you don't see Toastmasters on every corner. But here in Pinellas County, a couple of years back, we were number 6 in the world, and we were competing with India, who only had 1 or 2 clubs. I think US is saturated, and we have so many opportunities that some of the extra sprouts maybe needed a little pruning. And I think it's better to be right-sized than to always grow, grow, grow. And with that, I think partnering with Europe and make sure we both grow at an even pace is the right thing to do. Stay right-sized. That's my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Jeanette?
Yes, Al, that was a good speech. I like that. That was very interesting. And I like your thoughts. The US is like Publix. We're on every other corner for Toastmasters in Pinellas County. I don't know how it is in Hillsborough as close proximity, but yeah, I agree. But I like how you stated your speech. You had your introduction, you had your middle of what happened or why what we're doing, and then you had your finalization of what we should do. So I like how you showed what we do, what we could do, and how we can do it. So that was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Who is next? I think we had Kara next, right? Kara?
I'm happy to answer a table topics question, yet as the odd counter and the timer, I'll need someone to fill in for me. Oh, there, Al. Okay.
I
Al
like
has
it.
her colored pencils or markers,
Okay.
highlighters. All right, I'm ready.
So Kara, your question is, you have to come up with a 5-year plan, something that's not immediate, like Zane had an somewhat immediate thing that can change immediately. But what do you think that will take 5 years to change? But you're in charge of that. What project would you like to launch as a leader of Toastmasters International?
Thank you for that question, distinguished Toastmaster. I think that a 5-year plan would be to incorporate Toastmasters into training with reemployment services. I think that the way that our economy is going currently, and oftentimes we see this globally, people need retraining. And we all know that Toastmasters says that it's about speaking, but it's about so much more. It's about leadership. It's about writing and organizing speeches, and it's essentially about being a better communicator. I believe that through the curriculum that is in Pathways, the Toastmasters could help reach so many more people throughout the world and make things better. Not just at gaining reemployment or higher employment, but also in helping them be better communicators with their family, their friends, and their coworkers. We all know that one of the Pathways speeches in the second, I believe it's the second level, is about your leadership style and how we communicate with others. If we spent more time working on that, or just again, 1 to 2 hours a week on personal development, just think of the amazing things that we could all accomplish. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Kara. Some food for thought there.
Thank you.
Jeanette.
Kara, that was an amazing articulation of the steps that Toastmasters needs to take. And that's good. You gave ideas to help us elaborate to how we can better ourselves and become better with our community as well. So that's always a good thing, involving other aspects of the world with our Toastmasters Club, because we're not just our little quaint little clubs here. We want to expand and bring in the whole world. So I think that's a wonderful idea, and I wish we could have seen a little bit more of your gestures, but it is what it is. So, but we did well. So, and I want to say everybody did very well on their articulation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Who is next?
Sue.
Next. Okay. Shu Chen. Mike, the next question has to do with you. Zane is very successful with his real estate working. He's not only staying for free, he has so much money that he gives you the job of spending $20 million per year on supporting, establishing clubs or helping people who cannot afford Toastmasters. How would you spend that $20 million a year?
Thank you, distinguished Toastmasters. Good morning, everyone. It's a wonderful question. If I got this free money, how am I going to use all of that out? Right now, with COVID-19, we find the money is really precious. But with this free money, definitely we want to get people educated and go back to workplace again. But you also think about the future generation. I think Toastmaster has become a global community. We had to reach out every corner of the planet. So I think the money to still need to dedicate to the places outside the United States. Because in terms of think about the future generation, the kids need to be educated. And there's there's more growth potential in those areas in terms they are younger, they have more bigger population, and also the penetration of a Toastmaster class, a lot of places have not been reached. So money will be spent in those areas like Africa, in Southeast Asia, maybe part of China, maybe Eastern Europe, and that people be more aware what Toastmaster community is doing, how they help individual focus on their personal growth. I think in that approach, them to realize the power of a communication, and they will keep the generation flourishing and improve the living standard of those countries. That's a great way to do it. So money will be spent in those countries, help to develop a foundation of a Toastmasters Club. Education and technology, and we implement there. I think we are on the permanent growth path for Toastmaster community.
Thank you,
Awesome,
Shu-Chen.
Shu. That was awesome. You as well, you articulated the information very clear and concise. You had your opening, your middle, and your end. Like everybody else, you had your idea and how to implement it and make it forward to make Toastmasters a better organization. And I think you all did that. You all wrapped around your subject where you gave your idea and how to implement it. So let's make this really happen. So John Paul, do your thing as PDQ or PQD. So very well, Shu.
Next, we have one or two people who have not yet spoken. Beverly?
We only have one, Beverly.
Okay, Beverly.
I guess I need to get some gumption.
Yes, I see you already have a lollipop.
Man, I haven't used my own word.
So one of the issues that actually quite a few of the candidates raised was that whereas in the past, the clubs that are in prison could meet in person, now that we have computer-based material, that in some prisons, people don't have access to computers. So what is your solution for prison clubs, seeing that we've seen that people who are part of a Toastmasters club are far less likely to revert back to criminal life after they've been released than before? So I think Toastmasters should be part of the rehabilitation process. And Kara I know she already had an answer about how to help in the future. But this is also something which I think is wonderful to hear. But how do we solve this issue? Pathways is in our computer. Printed material costs money. Sometimes prisoners are not allowed to have paper with them, or they have to file it, or it's thrown out during searches. How do we solve this, seeing that Toastmasters does have a very positive impact on the prison population?
Very, very interesting question, John Paul. I think it's time that the prisons go outside maybe the established framework and ask the computer companies to donate computers. By donating the computers, the companies would get a tax write-off. It's not necessarily that every prisoner gets a computer, but maybe a small group of, like, say, 3 to 4 could share a computer. But it would be their computer, it would be theirs to maintain and take care of. Not necessarily the technology, but the physical presence of this item. To me, that would give them a sense of responsibility, combined with a Toastmaster experience. And when they got out, this would add to their self-esteem. To me, Toastmasters has been such a wonderful opportunity for me to enhance my brain power, and it has elevated my self-esteem. This can also translate to how the prisoners would feel when they got outside. Maybe computer companies could segue the prisoner's experience into jobs in their company. So this would be an added bonus, because they would get people who are interested in computers to staff their companies. Maybe they would not be at full scale with other employees, but they could start a program that would facilitate communication between the computer companies and the prisons and prisoners. This would be good work experience for them and something that they could put on a resume. I think that prisoners would jump at the chance. I know that prisoners are used as firefighters. They get paid like $2 an hour, and they get time commuted off of their sentences. So the prisoners are willing to do something positive with the time that they're being incarcerated. To me, that sounds like a win-win situation, getting the computer companies involved with Toastmasters and the prison educational system. And thank you for that excellent question.
Jeanette.
Thank you, Beverly. You know what? I think we just found District 48's new team for next term. Just to let you know. Beverly, again, you you implemented your information very well. You had a beginning, you had a middle, and an end. And like I said to everybody else, you gave instructions on how to handle these things that we would want to happen. And normally when you're elected on the board, people don't always give that instruction to how to do it. They give the idea. All of you guys gave the instructions of how to implement these features to make Toastmasters a better organization and to better everybody. So I want to thank you, and you articulated very well, Beverly. Thank you for your information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just need to see more gestures from people.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, everybody, for your ideas, for rising to the occasion, for volunteering, for stepping up. And I have all faith in the future of Toastmasters with leaders like you. Thank you, everybody, and back to Madam Toastmaster Beverly Plant.
Thank you, John Paul. Now we're going to switch back and ask Elle for her evaluation of Zane's speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Zane, you had me at how to live in your house for free. Thank you. What a compelling speech. Why buy real estate? I thought you were going to give us a training when I heard the title, but I was very intrigued by your opening. And you had a very good structure to your speech. I agree with your first reviewer. This is your second time giving the speech. You had a lot of great qualities, such as clarity. Your comfort level was very good. You're very at ease with the audience. Your vocal variety was appropriate to the topic, and it was well researched. I like the way you did the cost-benefit analysis of rent or buy, because that's an American dream item and it may have changed over time. It still seems like buying real estate is a good idea. Thank you for that. As far as the improvements, I had the gumption to write down that you could have improved the eye contact, gestures, and your position in the screen. However, I played Goldilocks today thinking, okay, well, how's my position in the screen? Because in my comfortable chair, I like the background and the lighting, but I was too low. Then you might have seen me pop on at a different spot, and then I was like way up here, which is too much. So I do see you in the lower portion, and I do see the light coming. Anyway, you might want to play Goldilocks if you have to do a lot of online meetings with that. That is probably an easy target answer for the evaluation. The other improvement that I would see is you did incorporate a summary this time. However, when you're doing a summary or conclusion, you don't want to introduce any new content. It should be a repeat of whatever was already presented before. And I felt like your summary had a lot of heavy items with the cons, but you did lift us back up with the seller finance option. So we had our catharsis. We are well on our way. We know how we can live for free if only we have the capital to do so. Thank you so much. And I like all your analytics. Excellent job.
Thank you,
There's so
Elle.
much more I could add to that speech, but I actually overtimed the first time I gave the speech.
I want to say thank you, Elle, for that excellent evaluation. Now I'm going to turn the meeting back over to our general evaluator, Jeanette Sweeney.
Thank you, Miss Toastmaster of the morning. So now it's time to do our tag team. I will start with our timer. Miss Kara, can you give us our times for how well we did today?
Of course, I'd be happy to, Madam Toastmaster. Zan, your speech was almost over, 7 minutes and 26 seconds.
Wow.
And the evaluation, Elle, your evaluation was 2 minutes, 49 seconds. And now I will go through the table topics. Jeanette, 1 minute, 21 seconds. Zan, 1 minute, 43 seconds. Elle, 1 minute, 24 seconds. Elle was so kind to time me. It was 1 minute and 30 seconds. Shu Chin, 2 minutes exactly. And Beverly came in right under the wire at 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Great job, everyone.
Oh my goodness.
And as also we have double duties, could you also give us our odd counter report?
I'm putting my other hat on now. Then your word of the day was so. That's what you need to work on. You had also 3 ands and 2 you knows. I also added the word cuz, as I heard Zan say it and Jeanette say that.
Yeah, probably.
Jeanette, your word was also so. So in my grid, you're right underneath Zan, you're together with your favorite word of the day to work on. Jean-Paul, your word was ah. I counted 5 ahs and 3 so's. Shu Chin, 3 ahs. And Elle, I counted, your word of the day was and. 4 ands and 2 ahs. And Beverly, 1 like, 1 so, and 1 but. Everyone did very well with that as well. Look at this sheet. There's nothing on it.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Thank you for that odd counter report. Wow, we got to step it up, get ready in the morning early. And me as your grammarian, we had a few people say the word of the day. Beverly said it 3 times. Al said it once. And John Paul said it once as he was going through his table topics. And I just want to say, Zan, you had a couple of interesting phrases. How to live for free. I mean, come on, we don't hear that often. So that's awesome. And I need to dig deeper with you because I'm looking for my own place. So tell me how I can live for free. And you also said, you used the word leverage, but I know it as leverage, so I don't know if there's a variation on that. But because leverage, I would think would be spelling L-E-E-V, but I could be mistaken. And then during all the table topics, she said use collaboration, which is with instead of competition. I like that. And Zane said, you said global franchise with our global clubs in Toastmasters, and I like that. So that wraps up my grammarian report. And now for the overall report. No matter how small or how big Smedley is, we always collaborate together very well. We bring in great questions, great themes for our meetings, and great speeches. So I want to thank everybody for that. I really loved your questions, John Paul. Like I said, I think we found District 48's trio for next year and more. So if any of you want to participate in next year's trio, call me and we'll get going. I think we have a strong team here at Smedley, and I think we are advanced because we strive to be better and show clubs how to really be accentuated and effective. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Beverly.
Thank you, Jeanette, for your excellent reports. Next, we turn back over to Zane for the President's report and Toastmaster comments.
So thank you all for today. It was fun to have this meeting. This kind of wraps up. I've been in meetings since 5:30 a.m., but hey, it's fun. It's a great way to get moving on your Saturday because it's energizing. I thought we did a good job today. Jean-Paul, thank you for that super unique insight. It forced me to exercise the executive part of my brain, which doesn't always come up. Kara, that is a very cute cat you've got there. Meow. Is that a tuxedo? Yeah.
I don't know what you call her. She has a
Yes.
little mustache, kind of, and
Ah.
little white paws.
Does she have a white underside?
No, just a
No?
little bit
Okay.
under her arms.
Okay. Well, she's a
But she's all
mutant
black.
cat then, So
She looks part Persian.
She is Persian. She's been laying on the desk, so I've been trying to keep track of everything, and then I have this cat rolling around, pressing my folders. If you saw them move, it was because she was rubbing against them.
So I guess you're an ah counter and meow counter at the same time.
Yes, cat wrangler.
Yeah.
Her name is
Okay.
Josephine.
Yes.
She's very
Aw.
sweet.
Yeah. Beverly, good job today as serving as Toastmaster. I appreciate how you kept the meeting on time. I know we did not have the most packed schedule, but we did manage to get everything in and everyone got to do table topics, which is great. I'm sorry I didn't get to you at the beginning. So Shu, what did you think of our meeting this time around?
Yeah, I enjoyed today's meeting, and particularly your speech is like a takeaway, can live for free. And what's wonderful thing to know this is secret, able to leverage it. And right now is pay the rent is so expensive. So great idea. I also like a young post help us to imagine we were in executive committee and run for international director position. Last year, I was in the conference. I had experienced help a candidate to run for that position. And right now, today, put me on the spot to pretend I was one of the candidates. Very exciting. And I also like evaluation by Janae and Elle. They are all very experienced and very insightful to identify the strength and weakness of each speaker. Yeah. It's a wonderful meeting, and it's a great learning opportunity again this Saturday morning. Thank you for this, having me to enjoy join your meeting.
Thank you, Shu.
Yeah, and Shu, I guess what I would ask you is, like, you've been here a couple of times. How do you feel about possibly joining in the future? I mean, it'll give you some time to think about it, of course.
Thank you. Yeah, I still have my membership with District 46. Yeah, I was considering to become part of your club.
Okay, definitely think about it. I mean, Jean-Paul is one of our most active and greatest members, so we're happy to answer any questions that you have, and we certainly hope that you'll come and visit at our next meeting, which is going, if you've not already joined, which is going to be our humorous speech and table topics contest.
Wow.
Sneak preview, I'm going to make the tax code hilarious.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so invite your friends to come and hear some humorous and crazy table topics.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That goes for all of you, not just Shu.
Yes.
So are we wrapping up, or?
I believe we are. Does anyone have any business items that we should be aware of? Any announcements?
I have an announcement.
Sure, Jeanette.
I have been elected the facilitator chair for our conference, whether it be online or in person.
Congratulations.
Huh?
Congratulations. What are you doing?
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have to find 20 to 30 facilitators to help out with the presentations. And we may be having a hybrid conference, like we are having a hybrid club when some of us are in live person.
Well, that just sounds awesome, Jeanette. And,
yeah,
obviously, since Smedley is the original hybrid, we should definitely take a huge role in that,
Right. So if anybody has any people or yourselves want to participate, give me your name, send me your name, and send me your other people's names, and I will collaborate with you in what we all have to do. I have to find out who our presenters are first so I know who not to ask. But I may have to help out with the contest as Sergeant of Arms because some of those may be online.
Have a great day, Kara.
Bye, Kara. Thank you. So that's my announcement for the day.
All right, do we have any other announcements? No? Very good. Then I adjourn this meeting of the Order of Smedley. Have a great Saturday, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Great job, everybody.